It's Tiffany Dover, Tiffany Dover.
Why not come out and dispel these rumors?
Initially, that was exactly what I wanted to do. And unfortunately, I was told that that absolutely would not happen.
The hospital told you not to speak out.
Correct. Yes. It would be irrecoverable damage is what I was told if I was to speak out and have another episode.
You are now within minutes of Tiffany, because in this video, I really do miss that introduction. For those who have been subscribed to me for quite a while now, you will remember I used to do an introduction in my videos. You are now within minutes of horror. But some people in the comment section of those videos thought the introduction was corny, so I stopped doing it. But it made me realize I really need to stop giving into peer pressure and bullying. It really is no different than when I was about 10 years old and I was invited to my first birthday party. And when I arrived, the kids said, "The piñata's finally here." And I said, "Where's the piñata?" And they beat my ass. Still to this day, I remember one of the kids yelling out, "Damn, we knocked a Reese's Pieces out his ass." But we're not here to talk about me, we're actually here to talk about Tiffany. Not this Tiffany, even though this Tiffany right here is still very important to the overall narrative of this video. We're actually here to talk about this Tiffany, Tiffany Dover. Even though these two Tiffany's, their situations were different, oddly enough, they still have a lot in common. Back in 2020, the C-19 was spreading rapidly across the world, so the government had to come together to stop the spread, and thus the jab was born. Now, given how mysterious this C-19 just randomly popped up, and also the fact that how quickly the jab was created under Operation Warp Speed, a lot of people were hesitant in getting this jab. People were pushing back and they were saying, well, they don't know the long-term effects, it was created too quickly. Companies had to step in and say, well, if you do not get this jab, you are no longer going to have a career with us. And though that worked for some, dangling somebody's career over their head, others were still hesitant. There was still hesitancy among the public. So what they started doing was showing people getting the jab on live TV. And one of those people happened to be a woman known as Tiffany Dover. Now, like Tiffany G, many people do not believe that Tiffany Dover is this woman's real name, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, Tiffany Dover, she sits down in a chair, they put the needle into her arm, and they inject it. Everything appears to be fine, but moments later, she faints. They slowly begin to pan the camera away from her, and that's that. Now, people watching this play out on live TV are even more convinced to not get the jab. Tiffany Dover eventually recovers, and then she proceeds to give an interview on camera.
What unit do you work in?
Yeah. It's Tiffany Dover, Tiffanydover.
And what unit do you work in?
CCU.
So I guess just talk to us a little bit about what just happened after passing out after taking the vaccine.
Okay, so I had a syncopal episode. I have a history of having an overactive vagal response. And so with that, if I have pain from anything, hangnail, or if I stub my toe, I can just pass out. So what happened is I get an aura before of feeling weak, dizzy, disoriented, and it just, hit me all of a sudden. Just felt really diaphoretic, and I could feel it coming on, so I felt a little disoriented, but I feel fine now. And the pain in my arm is very minimal, actually, but it doesn't take much.
So you feel fine now?
I feel fine now. And this is, I have passed out probably 6 times in the past 6 weeks. It's common for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
No regret taking the vaccine?
No. I mean, like I said, a hangnail can cause me to have this.
So this is common?
It is for me, yes.
Okay.
Yes. Typically, like I said, I can feel it coming on, and I could, but I was trying to push through, but,
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks for talking.
Well, yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Now, at this point, this is where a lot of strangeness circulating her situation and a lot of questions would begin. Because Tiffany happens to be a nurse for Chicago Memorial, but not just any nurse. She happens to be a critical care nurse. With this knowledge, there was two questions that started to circulate among the public. One of them being, why is a woman who can easily faint at any moment working with the critical care unit, a unit where you have to constantly be on your toes, where you need to be alert for any situation, and she's saying, I can easily stub my toe and faint. The second and most important question was, why would the hospital use this specific nurse on live TV for an example of the jab when they know she can faint at the slightest sense of pain? A couple weeks go by and there were people that were worried and curious about her situation. Like Tiffany G, people were scrambling on the internet to find any information about Tiffany Dover. There was no information about Tiffany or her current situation, but people were actually able to find her Instagram. Now, prior to her getting the jab and fainting, she was very active on Instagram. She would post about once or twice a day. But after this incident on live TV, she stopped posting. Matter of fact, last I can remember, she has not posted at all. But people actually noticed that the opposite started to take place on her Instagram, that photos of her husband and her husband started to be deleted. They were removed. Now, this would drive the curiosity of a lot of people because her Instagram was open, meaning people could leave comments on her photos. And they were saying things like, Tiffany, are you there? Tiffany, are you okay? Tiffany, what happened? Ever since you got the jab, you haven't been speaking out. She was not replying to any comment. And on top of this, the last time she actually gave a statement was the first time she fainted during that interview. So by all accounts to the public, she was considered missing, until rumors of her death started to circulate. This is also where people started to realize that her name, Tiffany Dover, was actually not her name at all. People took a photo of hers off of Instagram and backtraced it. Come to find out, it was actually linked to another name, Tiffany Pontes. The name Tiffany Pontes was searched into Ancestry.com, and oddly enough, Pontes is a part of her name, including Lachey, Tiffany Lachey Dover Pontes.
Okay, people, let's find when died Tiffany Dover Pontes. Tiffany Dover, Tiffany Pontes Dover, Tiffany Lachey, registered nurse, nurse manager, Chattanooga Pontes. Her birthday, death, same days as vaccination, December 17, 2020. December. Tiffany Lachey Pontes Dover, December 2020. December 17 midnight, maybe 18 December, the day that day. Check yourself if you don't believe.
There's actually a photo of her right next to this name, and it also lists her occupation. It also lists her date of birth, but stranger than that, it also lists her date of death, December 17th, 2020. the same month, day, and year that she received the jab on live TV. Rumors of her death began circulating like wildfire on the internet, and still she was not given a statement. And oddly enough, neither was her family. Her family were not coming out either. The only thing a family member had stated, which I do believe was either her sister or her sister-in-law, was that they were getting lawyers involved. Now, yes, even though these are just rumors, these rumors are occurring around the same time that the government really wants to build public trust, public confidence around this jab. So you would think the hospital that she works for would tell her, look, you have to put these rumors to bed. We have to get people jabbed up. Go on live TV and tell everybody that you are okay. But she never does. She never gives a live statement. So what does Chicago Memorial do to stop the rumors of her death and show everybody that she's okay? They release a photo of her wearing a mask surrounded by other nurses, holding a sign that shows the date, December 21st, 2020. Now, the hospital released this photo months after she received the jab on live TV and fainted, but they released this photo to show there's no way that Tiffany Dover died on December 17th, because here she is surrounded by nurses holding a sign that says the date December 21st, 2020. People on the internet do what they do. They go through this photo with a fine-tooth comb, and they came to the conclusion that the woman in this photo is not Tiffany Dover, because her neck is wider, her eyebrows are more spaced apart, her hairline is different, and her eyes happen to no longer be blue. So you can start to see the connection with Tiffany G, where weeks went by after this woman had this great disturbance on her flight. The internet could not find any information about this woman. It actually happened to be big media to find this woman's whereabouts. They started taking photos of her and started to release it on the internet. And people started to say, no, this is not the same woman that was on that plane. The woman on the plane had softer features. She looked thicker. She even looked like she could possibly be military. The woman they're showing us in these photos, she looks older. She looks more petite. Her nose looks different. The woman known as Tiffany G, her semi-apology video came out, and this is where people really started to say, this is definitely not the same woman that appeared on that plane. When it comes to Tiffany Dover, big media started to fact check her death, and they stated that it was absolutely false that she died. The reason? Well, because her hospital gave a statement that she's still alive, even though the woman herself has yet to give a statement, and any photo that she appears in, she's wearing a mask. Tiffany Dover does eventually decide to give a statement 3 years after she fainted on live TV. So like I have said before, when it comes to the government releasing information about UFOs and aliens, even though for decades they have told us that UFOs were nothing but weather balloons and you're just a crazy conspiracy theorist, I would say, why now? Why are they telling us UFOs and aliens exist now? During the first year that she fainted on live TV, this story really spread like wildfire. There were a lot of people that really did believe that this woman died. But like everything else on the internet, in due time, the story just starts to slowly fade away. 2022, 2023, nobody is talking about Tiffany Dover anymore. It's just simple as that. That is how the internet works. But for some reason, on March of 2023, she finally does decide to come out and say, look, I'm here, I'm still alive. So what exactly did happen to Tiffany Dover? Well, the main theory is that she did indeed die on December 17th, 2020, after receiving the jab on live TV, and that she now has a body double. There are some that even say that Tiffany Dover is indeed actually Tiffany G. But the main consensus is that her family were hushed up or paid off, and that her death was swept under the rug so people did not fear the jab. But either way, the events after Tiffany Dover fainted on live TV still remain a mystery and share many similarities with the woman known as Tiffany G. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this channel and you want to see more, please subscribe. If you're already subscribed, please like, as any engagement does help the channel grow. Once again, thank you so much for your support.